Okay, y'all, let me get a few minutes of your time. I am sitting outside on the porch because it is about 70 degrees and it'll be 40 degrees tomorrow, so I'm taking advantage of it today. Nonetheless, we're talking the pain points, and this is fear of lack part 2. The only way to get through the fear of lack is basically to get through it. But here's the thing, and this is why there's a part 2. When you're afraid of losing something that you're so comfortable in having, the problem isn't not having it. The problem is who or what are you trusting? And so for me, as an example, I put in the last video about people saying, hey, I wouldn't have been able to leave my job for business and ministry, not knowing where my income was going to come from, not knowing where my revenue was going to come from. So talking to those people, I totally understand their fear because they've been trusting in what they know is. At the time, I was in a separation, but even, prior to, having different conversations with my husband at the time, what if God calls me out for entrepreneurship? There's no guarantee. Matter of fact, before we even got into our marital relationship, I was just doing my business, and that was not cool for him. Why? Because it was uncomfortable. Not knowing where money was going to come from, how soon it was going to come, and whether or not bills were going to be paid. Oh no, that gave him great anxiety. And I totally understand that. That's fair. But when you're me, the only way to partner with me, remember I said your partner is your spouse. The only way to partner with me is if you know and trust God. So your fear of lack doesn't come from not being afraid or being afraid of what may not be there. Your fear of lack is that you don't trust God in the middle of the things that He's telling you to do. This was me in 2015 when I went from being in a home to being homeless. And I was homeless for almost 2 years, for a little over 2 years actually. But that is why, because the Lord told me what to do and I didn't do it. I started to, but then I hesitated. I asked all these questions like, but what about this and what about that? And where is this going to come from? And how am I going to get there? And asking God all these questions. And God didn't want me to ask those questions. God wanted me to do. When God wants us to do, it is not just us moving in that action. It is also trusting Him in the instructions that He has given us. So your fear of lack is not about not having. It's about the fact that you don't trust God. So your next step of getting past that is learning how to trust God, period. Now, the next pain point taps into that as well. But here's where you start. Trust God first.